What's going on, people? Warlock Views here. It's been a while. Welcome to 2020. And I want to talk about a couple of things. But before I do that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely share this video and leave a comment below. So before I get into what this video is about, check this. Alright, so by the title you should know what I'm talking about here. It's that person, L0ni Love, wants to talk about how men cheat and a whole bunch of other things. But you know what? I'm not even gonna commentate on it. I'm gonna let you hear it first, and then I'll come back with my commentary. So, take a listen.
I want to, I don't speak for the black community, but I do think that a lot of black men, they really don't know how to have true, faithful relationships.
Okay, so that's the first thing that she said. That she don't think that we know how to have true, lasting relationships. Now, mind you, this is about black men cheating. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people, men out there that cheat their asses off. But does that necessarily mean that we don't know how to have a relationship without cheating, have a lasting relationship? Or does that have something to do with you? And I say that to say this. I've always said that if in fact a person has 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 fucked up relationships, who, or what should I say, what is the common denominator in all of those fucked up relationships? Now, mind you, you know what? No, that's something that I'm going to get into a little bit later. But for right now, I'm going to let this whole thing play out, and then I'll come back with the rest of my commentary. I'm quite sure y'all have heard this, but this is a damn trip.
I don't speak for the black community, but I do think that a lot of black men, they really don't know how to have true, faithful relationships. They think because they have money, because they have power, that they can treat women any kind of way.
L0ni Love is saying things.
And that is something we need to work on. We need to work on that money and power does not mean that you can just do whatever you want to do.
I think sadly in so many cultures that is the whole machismo thing, like that goes across the board, but I'm gonna say...
No, it's not across the board, because what is happening is that we are still dealing with the point of slavery, and we are descendants of slavery, and because our families were broken up, we still do not have an idea of how to have together families, because our families were broken up.
Yes,
and until we really
from that
start...
perspective, I absolutely agree.
Fair reform in the 60s and stuff. Like, this is a long...
Alright. Y'all heard it. And there's several things that I want to talk about that's like really dumb. First and foremost, you heard of that. We really don't know how to have a relationship without cheating and all of that. And it's not that we can't have relationships without cheating. And once again, she focuses on a black thing. Okay, so let's talk about that. She talks about that because we have money and this, that, and the other. It's not like you have an overabundance of rich black men, okay? So first and foremost, you're talking about the smaller, the minute part of black men that have money. Now, this is a whole nother, well, not a real whole nother subject, but at the same token, those small majority of black men that do have money now date outside that race. So that's a whole nother problem for her and a lot of black women, that black men with money that have accomplished some type of status date outside their race. But that's not what we're talking about. We know how to have a relationship, a long-lasting relationship. But at the same token, the women don't know how to treat us and or respect us. Now understand this. Women, black women, have been taught, I'll say black women between the ages of, I'll say 35 and younger, may even go to 40, but I'll say 35 and younger have been put in their heads that they need to be independent and all of this and all of that. So I have no problems with a woman being independent. I have no problem with a woman wanting to have her own. But at the same token, once you get to a certain point, then there comes a point of respect. Okay? If you get so damn independent, whereas though, and you hear women say it all the time, I'm independent, I don't need no man, I do my own thing, and this, that, and the other. Once you get to that point, there's no need to have respect for that man, because you feel as though that you don't need him to accomplish the things that you need to accomplish. So that's one point. Then the other point is this, Ms. Love, you're talking about we're dealing with slavery, we're descendants of slavery, and they broke our families up during slavery, so all of this. But two things. One, are you not dating a white guy? So why would you even talk about this? Secondly, you're going to talk about we don't know how to have a family, whereas though back 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 30s, all the way up to the late 60s to the early 70s, black people were the most married, black women were the most married out of any race in the world. So what happened? Late 60s to early 70s, the government introduced this quote-unquote welfare system, stating that basically, okay, ladies, you don't want to be under the thumb of your man anymore. Hey, we'll give you all of these governmental benefits if you just kick him out of the household. Now, this was up to you, ladies, whether or not you wanted to keep your man or you wanted to take the governmental benefits. You chose to take the governmental benefits. That meanwhile, you're kicking the man out of the household. That's what broke up our families. Not the fact that we didn't know how to be faithful and all of that. You wanted your quote-unquote independence following this feminist movement that had nothing to do with you. Now, all through the 70s, 80s, 90s, look back, and for y'all millennials, you really don't have anything to say about this unless you do your homework. Because you wasn't around for the start of all of this, when this welfare system was put into place, when the black women started kicking all of that daggone, well, not all, but when the black women started kicking the men out of the households, when you had Donahue, that's how Oprah got so big. You had Donahue, Oprah that came along, you had Ricky Lake, you had a whole bunch of talk shows that was telling women that they don't need that man. And y'all fell right into the daggone, y'all followed right into it. Whereas though y'all kicked the black man to the curb. Now, you want to figure out why we really don't want you. One, you don't respect us. Two, you took our fathers and kicked them out of the household. So therefore, you had women raising children, raising these girls to be independent, not to want a man, not to need a man, and all of that. So therefore, where's the relationship at? We may want them. But you're so damn independent now that you feel as though you don't need them, you don't want to respect them, so to hell with them. So don't bring up the slavery part of it, because after slavery, like I said, in the early 1900s, all the way up to, well, I want to say from the end of slavery, all the way up until the late 60s, 70s, we were the most married race in the world until you, black women, decided to kick us out of the household to take your daddy, the government's money, instead of having your family and having your man. And on top of that, after y'all kicked us out of the household, then you wanted child support. But that's a whole nother subject. So L0ni Love, you want to talk about that we don't know how to have a relationship without cheating, yet you want to deal with a white guy, and I'm quite sure that the way that you talk to that white guy, you would not talk to a black guy in the same way. You wouldn't give that, you don't give that white guy all kinds of hell. If in fact he lost his job, you would sit there and be just as happy and content with that white guy, but the black guy is automatically known as the bad guy. So that statement that you're making, and I don't even know who that other woman on there is talking about. L0ni Love is saying things. She has no idea. She's saying, yeah, she's saying things. She's saying a bunch of bullshit. So, ergo, I got to say this. L0ni Love, only speak on what you know about. I don't even know how old that woman is, but you should be old enough to know that your statements and your comments was bullshit. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't men out here that cheat. I'm not saying that there are men out here that are no good. But just as I always say, there's always a cause and effect to everything. And we have not yet recovered from the late 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s of all the negative, all the negativity that has been put on the black man. And you women nowadays definitely will not let it go. Nonetheless, there's some more that I could say, but I'm going to end it here, and I'm going to just say this much. If you have a problem with anything that I said, feel free to comment. Feel free to dislike it. It doesn't really much matter. But understand this. If you're going to dislike it, or even if you're going to hit that thumbs up or thumbs down, give me a comment. Let me know what you think about what L0ni Love said. Alright? So, until the next video, y'all take care of each other. This is a new year, new things, new attitude, new perspective. And never get offended about how a person says things. Try to get past that and realize if what they're saying is the truth or is it false. And stop using that term, your truth. Because if it's only yours, it's your opinion, it's how you feel. Until later, y'all, this is Warlock Views. Always be true to yourself, because without that, you can't be true to others. Until next time, this is Warlock. I'm out.